Alright, let's go guys. Just gonna hit the ground running here and sculpt away on our Disruptorr. We have about 2 weeks to finish this guy and to work on a second set that we decided to throw into the mix because, you know, we never have enough work around here. So we're gonna try and finish 2 sets for the new Bloom. Contest going down for the game Dota 2 to create content for the Chinese New Year, and this year is the year of the Rooster. So our Disruptorr set is very Rooster oriented, you guys can see. Here's the blockout design. I'll go through this through each item on him in a second. Let me show you guys the default stuff. So here's the default Disruptorr. So there's his furry mount. He's got his where's his weapon? There's his weapon. He's got his little hammer. Has little electricity effects going on the top there. He's got his back item, and there's an electricity effect between those 2 orbs, and that's really important. And I'll show you guys why when we go into our set. He has a head item that we can replace. He also has shoulders and arms. Okay, so that's the default, what you get in vanilla in game when you play Dota 2. And hide that. This is the default body, which we just can't edit at all. So we have to work around this guy for all the items that we put in, right? So we have, you can see the stats for the set, the LOD 0, LOD 1, so from close up and far away polygon counts, and the texture size for each one, if you guys are wondering what these numbers in the back are. And the items, the weapon, the helmet, the arms, the mount, the back, and the shoulders. Oh, there's the back item as well, forgot about that one. Okay, so then with that in mind, this is what items we have designed for our Disruptorr. Change the mount to, it's gonna be this kind of like a statue that came to life of a rooster, and all the feathers of the rooster. So you see all these little feathers here, and the bigger ones on the wings, and the longer or thinner ones for the tail. They're all gonna be made out of Chinese weapons. So Chinese daggers, Chinese blades, and Chinese knives or long blades for the back feathers. So all those things will have a nice, really balanced illumination coming from this magical egg that he's got on there, and some awesome lighting effects for the eyes and the mouth, and maybe even from the inside of the daggers. We have a little like inner glow coming out, kind of like a reverse ambient occlusion going on. And then we have these orbs that are floating around his head, and also the electricity that comes out in game between the 2 orbs that I showed you guys before will be coming in between the 2 blades that he has on his back floating around. We did earlier today. We did a quick test, super quick skin test to see how he looked in game, and we got the orbs moving around really cool. As he kind of like wobbles around, they kind of like bounce a little bit, and they move with him really nicely. And one thing that I just kind of like thought of as I was looking at these guys right here like a second ago, we're gonna be painting a little bit of a lunar cycle on these orbs on the top, you know, to go with the whole lunar year and rooster year. So yeah, we'll be doing a little bit of shoutouts there, maybe a little bit on these scrolls that he's gonna have on his arms, and you can see some of the shapes kind of reminiscent of that moon crest, whether it's by the handles on his sword or a little bit on the rooster. Oh God, I can never remember the name of their head flap thingies. very technical. So yeah, kind of referencing a lot of, as much as we can for the moon cycles going on here. And I'll just show you guys the Zbrush. As you can see, his emblem in the center clearly will have it visible there. Try to kind of echo that across the model as we sculpt and prepare the mesh for Zbrush. You can see all the feathers and the wings are all missing in Zbrush. That's because this is just the underneath mesh that we have there, so that you can't see through. This will probably all be glowing light blue. And on the low poly itself, the daggers and knives will actually be ZBrushed separately, so I have those down here. I'll be ZBrushing these guys and then just placing them across, so I don't have to ZBrush, you know, however many there are knives on here. I think this is like, oh my god, I don't know, 60, 70 daggers going all over, and knives and everything. So yeah, I'm not gonna ZBrush all those. I'm just gonna ZBrush 3 of them, place them about, and then give them unique textures so that I can paint some gradients and some different lighting across them and make them all feel kind of unique, even though I'll probably be clustering up maybe like 5 of those daggers and maybe making 3 versions of this, so I can do the plumage around the neck. And maybe I can pull the same off with the wing and kind of duplicate that. Maybe put it over here. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see how much space we have afterwards in the textures. Okay, so I'm brainstorming to figure out how that could work. We'll see. We'll see if we can pull that off. How's everybody doing? It's all good? Sure, my chat is updating correctly here on the stream. Sometimes if I forget to reset it, it doesn't let out. There we go. Right on. Okay. And I'm actually gonna hide the meeple. I'll give you guys a link to the meeple if you guys want to go check out our submission. Come to it. Hey, Crazy Cat. No worries, man. Welcome. Hey, Mint. Welcome, guys. So here you go. Here's the link to that meeple that you see in the bottom right corner of the screen. We worked together with the Meeple Girls, and they did a cosplay for that. If you want to see the cosplay, there's a couple of pictures of that up on the Steam Workshop as well. If you want to check out more of the cosplay photos, you can go to LiveWorkshop.com, where we posted also our set on the banner pictures at the top. You can check them out there and see some of the broadcast archives and past shows on there if you want to watch later shows once we're done streaming. But yeah, yep. Let's get onto some ZBrush, because we have a lot of items to ZBrush. This shouldn't take us too long. You know, they're gonna be super complex. You know, I think the hardest part already went through of figuring out how clean we have each one of them, how they work together, and how we work out that crazy the crazy feathers and how we bake them all to be unique and everything. So now it's just kind of getting into the meat and potatoes of the ZBrush and just sculpting out the detail in there, which will be pretty easy at this point. We got this down. The ideas and the concept were the tough part, so now it's just kind of pushing the polygons into place. I'll show you guys and explain how I do each part and what I'm thinking behind it. You like the apples in the backpack, Mint? yeah. So he's like a little. That Meepo said is like a little executioner. So he's got his apples in his bag that, you know, he tests how sharp his blade is before executions, and the whole crow set, you know, kind of was kept in mind for the apples and the axe and his little head covering, his little mask. So good. Okay, so I hit the Meepo little gifs there. They're a little distracting. Let's concentrate on this guy. Okay, so I just started ZBrushing this guy like about an hour ago. I opened it in like 10 minutes. I just kind of set up these things here, and then I was working on some other things for the other 50 minutes. But now we're gonna jump back on this, and I'll show you how I'll smooth this out and the masks that I use to push that emblem in, and we'll be adding a little bit of stitches here and there, keeping it pretty clean, because there's a lot going on this model, on this particular set, I should say. You can see over here, there's a lot of things going on, especially as you zoom out. You know, all those things start creating their own silhouettes, working together with the mesh. So we don't want to, you know, create a crazy amount of detail into the chest there or the legs, and then have all this other stuff going on at the same time, right? So we gotta keep some of those things clean so that it reads and it works together with proper art direction here. Borobe, what's up, man? Yeah, this is a rooster for the Year of the Rooster for the Chinese New Bloom event for Dota 2, for the competition that's going on. And yeah, we're gonna be doing all these daggers. They're gonna be low poly, probably some alpha textures here and there to see how many. It depends on how many polygons I have left by the end of this stuff. But I'm gonna worry about the Zbrush first, and then I'll be able to fit everything into the low poly with this placeholder approximation that I did. That's why I did this here, because even I'm not gonna be doing this in Zbrush. I'm just gonna be doing this guys in Zbrush. So yeah, we'll get there. Oh my god, this. And as much as I can, Crazy Cat, I'll be putting some kind of beveling, like maybe even keep like the bottom here and the top for some of the knives if I can't afford it with poly count. But we'll see that after, once we get back onto a little bit of retopo for the rooster itself. Be watching our broadcast for the last 2 days. Oh yeah, I think we're casting some gyrocopter textures, some Abaddon textures, and something else. I forget. But yeah, I think I had 3 videos on rotation broadcast on this channel on Twitch. But yeah, I've been updating the site with older broadcasts, and I'll keep updating them. Probably a couple videos a week, maybe 3 if I can. It takes me time. I have to do the thumbnails and update everything, so it takes me a little bit of time. But I can try to update the website with our past broadcasts that are. I don't think they're even on here on Twitch anymore, but. Yeah, just over at LiveWorkshop.com, you guys can see those videos, and I'll keep updating them every week. 2 or 3. All right, let's go Zbrush. All right, so first things first. As I brought an item in, I subdivided a few times without smoothing. So you go over here to geometry. You take this SMT off, that's your smoothing. Oh wait, you guys can see that my Zbrush is out of... There we go, sorry about that. Okay. So right over here, you just take that off. Self-divide 2 or 3 times depending on how far away your edge loops are. Right. And then you put that back on. And you subdivide 2 more times, and you get to this resolution that I'm at right now. So you can see a decent amount of polygons in there. It's not final. I'll probably subdivide this at 1 more time or 2. But it's a good space where you can start getting rid of those quads that you brought in from your low polygon. And the reason we do that is to keep the mesh as close as possible to the low poly, so that when we finish our high poly stuff, we can just export it and bake straight out. Well, after we do these, but the mesh will be ready. We don't have to move stuff into position or anything like that. This is almost ready to go. So, with that being said, I'm just gonna go ahead and grab our H polish here and start getting rid of these quads, and do our proper pass on making this feel like it's high poly, but keeping the volumes. Do I have symmetry on? I do. Okay. Let me go ahead and hide the hat. That's getting in the way. And I'll hide the rooster as well, so that I can see, or I can use that space to rotate my mesh a little bit easier. I gotta update the progress bars on the test in the Twitch description. Did I not? But I did. 1 second here. Actually, the void is the thing that I had off. Hold up, where's my progress? Oh, like you're talking about below the channel. Yes, you're right, Abyss. Because I only have the one in the channel right now updated. There you go. I'm showing it on the top on the actual video right now. So that'll do for now. I won't worry about the description. But yeah, we'll update that later. Abyss, thanks for the heads up. Be alright. Put on a little bit of a Ronald Jenkins on here. We continue smoothing out these shoulders. They're gonna be fast. There's not a lot to them. Get rid of these quads. Easy, easy. And don't worry if it looks a little wobbly at first, it's alright. It works. Then we're done with this smoothing. And then what I'm thinking for the detail, for the shoulders and for the chest, is I will be adding some, like maybe leather stitching, thick leather stitching, to the corners on the shoulder, and then just across the top a couple in the middle. And from far away I think it's gonna create a nice little Chinese kind of armor pattern. Even if it's leather, it should work okay. Larger brush works really good. Trying to smooth with the H polish along your meshes. And I'm using Alt across the concave sections, so that works. Do you make high poly models below low poly and then bake, or sometimes cross other boundaries of low poly models? It doesn't matter if they go in a little bit or out a little bit. You know, your normal map will be, when you bake your normal map, it will take care of that stuff for you. I just try to put them as close as possible together throughout, so your design volumes are more intact. Hey, what's up, Nat? Welcome, thank you so much. This smoothing is really low, so I'm just gonna try. Oh god, that's too much. Maybe we'll keep it there. Alright, sometimes their quads are just a little too flat, so I like to grab just the standard brush and just go in there and fill them out. And they will get a little bumpy and a little ugly, but we'll smooth that out afterwards. It's more of the volumes that I'm interested in getting back in here. You're getting this a little bit of umbrella kind of feel. We don't want it. Go ahead and fill those guys in. You know, it's a little bit bumpy. It's no problem. We go back to our H polish and we'll fix those guys right up. Larger brush, nice and smooth. And as you get closer to the edges, you have to scale down your brush, because then you start eating up into the edges and start messing up other sections of your model. Just be careful with that. And I'm super picky about how smooth my models get too, so I like to go over them, make sure I can't see any of those quads. So typically you would do like a mid-poly version of this and bring it in, which is already really nice and smooth, and you just kind of can start already doing your detail. But for Dota, since the models are so low poly, poly count and the volumes that you create are become really important as a designer. So I like to make my low poly first, make sure that I can use all the volumes with the amount of polygons I have already tested out by blocking out the mesh in low poly, and then just bring that into Zbrush and doing this pass on it, this kind of like smoothing pass, so that then I can do my detail on top of that. But I know that these volumes and that the poly count is actually gonna work with this design. That's looking pretty smooth. I grab a little bit of the corners here. And I want to go crazy here because then we're going to be pulling away from the low poly. But just a little bit so those corners are not so harsh. A little bit of more roundness in there and we'll be good. I see it's still a little polygonal, which is great because that's going to stay closer to our low poly for a nice clean bake. Yeah, this guy's almost ready. Little bit of angles here. Push them up a little bit. Alright. Pretty good. What's my MMR in Dota? So dude, I was at 3,900, and recently I've gone down to 3,600. I've had a really bad streak. But it happens, you know, up and down, man. I'll get back up there. I'll get to my 4K sooner or later. Nats, yes, we definitely use Xnormal for baking our stuff. Absolutely. You have Mudbox. Mudbox versus Zbrush. Okay, so I actually started in Mudbox in many years ago, and then I transitioned over to Zbrush. I liked Zbrush. I like how all the brushes and options that Zbrush has. I think it's a little bit superior to Mudbox in terms of the amount of things you can do with the sculpting in Zbrush. However, I do use Mudbox for painting some of our finishing touches and lighting information once we already set up our textures in Photoshop. So I love using Mudbox for the 3D painting. At the very, like, towards the, I want to say maybe the last quarter of our painting is done in Mudbox. And the 3 quarters before that I do in Photoshop from our bakes completely. Yeah, that's our workflow. And I'll show you guys some of that stuff probably next week when I start texturing this guy. Show you how I set up in Photoshop, and then towards the end how I use it to paint some of the highlights and lighting information onto the model all the way across. Right now, the Digitalist, this is Zbrush. Alright, that shoulder's pretty, alright. Let's go ahead and work on these pauldrons for his leg. You can definitely see a lot of quads on here, so let's just go in solo so I can see it nice and clean. And we're going to be painting a mask onto these guys so we can make a little bit of a framework for it. And then the inside of it can be more like a leather bit with some bolts or something like that to make it nice and unique, and to kind of make it match with the sword sheaths that we're going to be doing a little bit later. The ones on his back are going to be sheeted, and the one that he's holding is going to be same kind of blade, but he's going to have a long staff on it, long handle. Guess we'll see that. Is it not symmetrized? Oh my god, hold on. Go back on this back. Go back, do I need to? Oh my god, I can't go that far because I was doing some recentering, repivoting. There it is. Okay, make sure that that's turned on. Our back face is on, then we can be work a little bit better here. Okay. One more time. Yeah, I know. You're gonna lose your work. I messed up. It's rid of these quads. Sometimes it's nice to actually have your mesh triangulated, whether you do it by default settings or if you triangulate it yourself. You can control where you want those edges to go, in which direction, and that's really good for before you start skinning or even before you bake your model, so you know exactly how it's going to behave in game. Sometimes for some sections that edge turn might actually deform something that you might have sculpted on there, like a seam or space between planks, you know, things like that can really get deformed if you don't have the right or the manual edge loop or edge brought in manually. So keep that in mind. You know, sometimes in game you're like, oh man, what the hell, that broke. I had it sculpted perfectly and textured and it looks terrible in game. Sometimes you gotta do that stuff by hand. So I'm using Alt with H polish so it fills in the space in between instead of bringing it together the other direction. A little bit of smooth on top of that at 60%, and then just H polish right over top of those lines. And then the bigger brush you get, a little bit smoother you're gonna get across the entire surface. Kind of brush that stuff in at like 29% opacity. And over here we can see that loop is concave, so I'm gonna use Alt. Get rid of it a little bit. And then just regular brush across the whole surface. Look how nice and smooth that's getting already. It's gonna be super easy to do the painting on top of that. I know, Digitalist, but it was good information for somebody. I know, bud. These concepts are reviewed by other artists. No, I designed the models myself, and I block them out in low poly, and then start detailing them in Zbrush. Let me see the low poly in this section. I'm thinking. Okay. So the framework is going to take a pretty harsh turn on there just because of the nature of the low polygon and the other polygon that we're trying to hide underneath there. So that's just going to have a tight turn. That's okay. We'll deal with that. That's why I'm trying to smooth it here as much as possible without forcing it too much. Our normal map will make it look a little bit smoother than how harsh it really is. I'm just gonna run a quick smooth over all these guys because they're really harsh. Then I can work a little bit smoother just across the top. I think this section will benefit from us actually bringing these volumes up by hand a little bit. Whoops. Too much. Quick little smooth. Digitalist. Disruptorr, your favorite? Yeah, man. When they teleport into a fight, you just glimpse them all the way back to wherever they were at. That's gotta be my favorite. His favorite spell. Really cool. Can be such a bastard in game. Good tricks. Oh, what is going on here? The direction in which you brush your H polish is also important. Keep that in mind. Start doing the pass. Detail. Whoa, what happened here? Go ahead and fix that up. Without those corners a little bit. Can't do too much because remember this is super low polygon stuff, so we want to stay as close as possible to the low polygon for our bakes. And we'll do the detail otherwise. When I use H polish and not just shift, because H polish will actually will smooth across the surface. It's kind of hard to explain. So smooth will just kind of like push the vertices away from each other in a uniform fashion. Edge polish will actually take into consideration the volume and the curvature that is nearby, not just the vertices close by uniformly. So yeah, do a few tests with that sphere and you'll see the differences and around flat sections as well, and how they interact with each other. You get a feel for the tool. Smooth also tends to kind of destroy the volume if you just keep smoothing and smoothing. So see, if I do like edge polish here on the edge, it's not really messing around with the edge, it's pushing everything around it. Here, I'll overdo it so you can see the pinching happening. See how it's not going all the way through? If I just use shift, which is smooth, which is you're asking about, it's just smoothing all the vertices throughout, so you're just kind of spreading them out. It's a very different tool, very, very different. I guess it wasn't so difficult to explain. Well, this part I can't mess around with too much. Try as best as I can here. The area is pretty troublesome here. Not too bad. Not too bad for having triangles all over the place from our super low poly Dota mesh. So obviously, if you're working in Zbrush and you're doing something a little bit more cinematic with more polygons, you want to use mostly just quads and make sure your mesh is super nice and clean. But for Dota, for these low poly meshes, I actually bring in a lot of triangles, and it's not a deal breaker. It's actually easier to work with those triangles because the low poly is so important. Sure thing, King, no problem. Hey Stefan, what's up, man? I know, we've been so crazy busy with oh god, with so many sets. We're trying to finish the chest, with this. You can see there on the right side the Dota 2 set progress. So there's, what's that, 7 sets? And I've been working on the Legion Commander as well. I've been texturing her, and we're making a version that works with default animations and default bones. So we're bringing her back. And we're almost done with that. I guess we'll put the Legion in there, so it'll be an 8-set chest that we'll try and push out. And at the same time, we've been working on this Disruptorr a little bit, which you guys are seeing the Zbrush. And this the deadline for this contest is on January 7th. So we're working on this guy, and we're also working on a Phoenix set. So for these little pauldrons, we'll be masking out. Oh crap! We'll be masking out a little bit of the edge work there, and then we'll extrude out the middle the inside section, either in or out. I'm not sure yet. Probably. Let's see. Probably out, and then maybe on the other side, like on the frame for it, I'll go ahead and build out some little straps. Once we have more polygons, of course. Straps that hold onto the leather on top. maybe something like this. And they'll have little bolts on them, possibly on the inside actually. We'll be doing this kind of stuff. And then we'll be doing some of the details, so I'll be brushing in some really nice, oh, this is really low, it's gotta be a 1310. I'll be doing some nice wrinkle work for this leather section for the inside. And it's gonna be really simple, it's not gonna be too much, but you know, I'll be doing a little bit of lifting, a little bit of the harsher wrinkles, maybe some on the outside, you know, that kind of stuff. Oh, you guys will see some of the detail come through as well. And then we have the hat and the spheres and the other weapons and the rooster that we'll be doing. Well, we'll be doing the knives and a little bit of the rooster. The unique parts for the rooster is going to be the head, his flare there, and his legs. The rest of the inside of the rooster is going to be there just really to block the view. And once we have all the crazy daggers done and placed, because we're going to be ZBrushing 3 of those daggers, or 3, you know, each one of the different weapons that create the feathers for our metal mount statue, which he is riding. LiveWorkshop, can you explain how you set up the interactive cogwheel on the stream on Facebook and what? The interactive cogwheel you stream on Facebook, and I'm trying to add something similar to your stream and make it so that you can set up cool motion graphics and loops every time 5 minutes. I have no clue how to do that one. Oh, you're talking about like the LiveWorkshop, like glowing every now and then, and the cogwheel that kind of freaks out. That cogwheel actually used to change from depending on what application I was using at the time, because you know we flip between Photoshop and X or ZBrush X. These the latest, or Softimage or Mudbox, whatever it is. So that cogwheel will show the program that we're working on. But then the way that OBS started working, they kind of like took that away, and I think they're bringing back the plugins, but it's not working right now, so I just decided to put whatever project we're working on inside of the cogwheel. But I'm actually just using AVIs that I created in After Effects. So I create, you know, a looping, you know, 15 frame animation or whatever it is for the timing to not get super repetitive. And I export that AVI, and then I just tell the OBS layer to bring in that AVI, and I just place it on loop. Pretty simple, man. Pretty easy. What is the courier that we're working on? Oh. Why don't I show you really quickly before we got back to ZBrush real quick. Raptor, you're in here, where are you? I think I called it Raptor Courier. I'm blind, where is it? Called it something else? I forgot what I called it. Oh, it should be Courier. Okay, so it's Courier first. So here it is with the textures almost finished. But we have this guy running around in game. We're just working on the materials for him. You can see on the bar there, the materials, the materials are almost done. This guy looks hilarious. Abyss animated this guy. Looks fantastic in game, running around, is driving his little mech. And then his flying version. I don't think I have a full version in here somewhere. Yeah, not with colors, but anyways, his little mech turns into a little flying machine. Little thrusters. Gets these little goggles on. Do not have a flying version? Colors? I guess I don't. Or maybe he's just hidden. Nope, I don't. They didn't build it in. Oh yeah, you can see the goggles there. And he gets a flight stick instead of the 2 handles. Not otherwise. Oh, and his rare idol has this. He hits that button, and the mech crouches, and tall grass pops out, so he can hide in the tall grass like a raptor. So that's for the rare idol. We have that all animated and everything. But yeah, this is the courier. Thanks, man. This is Softimage. This is where I create my low poly, my mid polys, and my UVs and everything. Oh yeah, we can totally show them in game, but we should really be working on Disruptorr. Maybe later towards the end of the stream we can show you guys the in-game, this courier if you guys want. You don't know me, Digitalist? You don't know that? Kinda cold actually. Okay, that's pretty good. We're gonna go ahead and work a little bit on the edge. These edges, you know, sometimes get a little too pinched up, so I'll run a little bit of a smooth on there, make them unpinch on those corners. This inside stuff is just there so that it's closed off and that my creases don't eat up into the mesh themselves. The rest of these guys seem okay. I need a little bit more polygons there, but okay, I should be able to work with this. Okay, so what I like to do for the edges is grab a flatten brush and flatten. Actually, I'm gonna subdivide this one more time because I see some polygons need some help. And I'm gonna go in there and start flattening out these edges. Then we stream some of the particle effects for these items. So right now, as Valve released Source 2, they don't allow people to submit special effects any longer. So we're not going to be working on special effects until that is something that Valve wants to start accepting again. Unfortunately. That's what you meant, right? Like the in-game particle? Yeah. So what I'm doing here is creating an extra bevel to the edges of this. You know, there's going to be a single edge loop here in our low polygon. So what I'm doing is I'm flattening this out so that it looks even higher polygon once the normal map starts picking up those lights running across the mesh, instead of just getting completely just cut off really sharp. You know, giving a little bit more of a space for the light to catch on the edges by doing this extra bevel by hand. Brush is way too large for that section. Gotta bring it down. So after I do the flatten, I like to use my edge polish and do another pass across that flattening. And if somebody's about to ask, why don't you just use edge polish to begin with? Well, edge polish is really, really picky, and you have to be really precise. And going across one single edge, or one single pixel edge loop, is you get errors all the way across. So flatten first. That's a lot easier across hard edges, and then you can do your edge polish across that and get it super nice and smooth. See, way nicer control, really nice bevel that way. No special effects yet. I don't think they'll be around. I don't think they're gonna accept them for a long time. I was a betting man. Weird little trend there, but it's okay. I was able to fix. Alright, I have to go into crazy perfect mode here, you know, as long as the little edge is kind of working. We are happy to move on. Brush is getting a little big as I rotate around the model. Dicing your mesh, if you rotate around your model, it actually makes a difference. The size of your brush is different because it's measuring it thinks it's in, you know, the 3D is not actually 3D in Zbrush, so it kind of doesn't know your brush should be the same size. Even though you're the same distance away from it, on the other side it multiplies the distance for some reason. Okay, that's not bad. Without this middle section a little bit. Okay. Smoothing. Let's save our progress. Want to lose any of that stuff. Oh, totally, Digilus. That's totally what they're doing. Okay, let me. We're gonna test out how many polygons we have in here. I might need another subdivision. Wanna see how sharp my mask is gonna get here? Let's start messing with it. Not enough polygons, do we think? Quick little test. Yeah, maybe one more subdivision. Because yeah, we want to do the little straps with the little bolts. Yeah, this is not too heavy still. This is, let's see how many polygons we have on this thing. 1.6 million, and that's 2 of them, so you know, 800,000 or so. That's nothing. We're all good. Okay, let's mess this out. So let's go for it. Whoops. Yeah, the brush got so much larger just because we're at the top. Zbrush is weird like that. Our back facing is on. Sometimes even your masking starts eating up into the other side of the mesh. Kind of annoying. Alright, now comes the finessing part. Let's make this nice and clean. And you know, sometimes your mask, it doesn't have to be perfect, you know, you have little bumps here and there. You know, they look terrible and you might freak out about them, but after you do your beveling and you start doing your edge polish on top of that, you can actually usually clean it up for the most part at that point, so don't stress a crazy amount if your masking is not dead on. Get close enough. We gotta do edge polish on top of it anyway, so. Nice thick framework for this leg pauldrons. See it with the rest of the mesh, make sure it's the right thickness. It looks pretty good. Gives us enough space to add those little straps afterwards. If this was closer to the edge, it wouldn't give a lot of room to have those guys in there with a little circle to actually show that it's gripping onto either of the two surfaces. Right. The back might need a little bit more in the back. Oops. Round out those edges. The corners, I mean. Okay, and then we're gonna hold Control, Alt, and click inside of the mesh, and we're gonna sharpen our mask. And a little bit of cleanup. It kind of starts helping you see where your edges might be a little bit off. Go back in there and those lines to work in from different angles a lot better. Like I said, all this stuff we're gonna H-polish after we bevel. Or inflate balloon, I guess it's the actual term. And the setting will be setting on this guy. So, okay, that looks pretty good. I'm gonna sharpen it one more time. Good, looks good. Okay, so we're gonna bring this guy out, I think. I was planning on putting him in, but I think the strap coming out will kind of mimic the sheath layering that we'll be doing afterwards. Go ahead into our deformation, go over to inflate balloon, try maybe a 2. Whoa! Okay, I don't know what the hell I did. Oh Jesus, I clicked on it, so I put it at -64. Let's just go ahead and undo that, maybe. That didn't look too good. And we'll try it 2. Okay, so there's a 2. Yeah, that's not bad. Green Zanahoria, what's up, man? Next time, maybe a full stream of texturing in 3D Code. I do a lot of my texturing in Photoshop, and then use 3D Code or Mudbox to do some of the 3D like little touches, seam work, highlights, glow, baked lighting kind of glows. That's what I use Mudbox or 3D Code for. But yeah, I can show you guys that when we get to it with this model. Okay, so it looks pretty good. Let's see the whole model on here. Oops. I'm gonna use the isolate. Okay, yeah, that looks pretty good. We can definitely work with that. I'm gonna use sharpen a couple times on here because it kind of smooths it out after you use it. So now I can go in here and make this bevel a little bit stronger with a good old H-polish tool. I would say even push the inflate balloon even stronger to like maybe even a 4, but our low polygon is really flat. Like I would love to have even more polygons and actually extrude this out in the model itself, but I'm gonna keep it a little bit thin so that it's not super drastic on the normal map. You know, the normal map can only do so much. Turn this up a little bit more. Less brush strokes. The angle which you're viewing your model actually has a lot to do with how your brush is gonna smooth this out. So make sure you try and get more of a perpendicular view to your surface. So see how like I'm rotating to make sure that I'm hitting that as flat as possible. You know, instead of like from this view, because that's just gonna really flatten it out. Try and hit it dead on your face. Your face. Okay. Not too bad. What the hell happened over here? Yeah, so it's a little bit of a smoothing issue over here. Again, if you're doing some cinematic, you probably want to do this stuff with your mid-poly and get it just perfect, and not really have to do this at all. in here, but you know, this is Dota, this is low polygon stuff. We're adding layers by hand, so this is a good way to do it. All right, so not bad. Right on, right on. Okay, I think we can get rid of the mask now, where I save my progress. And start dialing in a little bit of those straps I was talking about. Now let's see if this works or not. It might be completely off. I don't know, I think I can pull it off. Now, I don't make them all uniform, so I don't want to have to do too much work on each one of them. So I'll try and find an uniform size. That'll be both visible and work with the amount of texture space that we'll have for each one of these sections. So I don't want to do too many of them either. You might get a little too busy to have the same size for these straps. Why is there a massive hole in the rooster? Oh. Well, that hole actually is going to have some elements floating on top of it, and that cavity is going to have a really nice glow coming from underneath it. And the rest of the inside of the rooster is also going to have this kind of glow that'll then kind of fade out as the feathers go out. So it's going to be a very illuminated statue that came to life. Floating egg and everything on there. Yeah, you're just not seeing all the parts of the mesh yet. You get the same size on these guys. I have to play around with the distance that I actually need them in. I think they should be longer. So I can get that bolt onto the right side, I think. Maybe even fatter, a little bit. Do I want to go all the way to the side as well? Let me try something real quick. Damn it, that does look better. Make it more difficult for ourselves now. I can go all the way through, I suppose. And actually, there's that polygon that's going to be trouble. So maybe I want to stay away from that turn there and just put this guy just underneath it. It's gonna take me a few tries. Or annoying perfectionists like that. This doesn't really matter with this bottom side, but we'll fix it up later. Alright, that's not bad. Put the other one over here. Don't worry about the scratchiness, we'll be able to fix that up. No problem. Just gonna sketch those guys in first. Yeah, the mount is this statue that came to life of the rooster. So it's gonna have like this magical thing, and the rest of it is gonna be made out of metal. So we'll get a nice little shininess onto it, and super fantasy oriented. Am I in the right section here? Okay, more or less I get in spot here. Right, and one more maybe? Or two more. Maybe do one more over here, or two more over here. A little too thick. Gotta experiment sometimes with your brushes when you're just doing things on the fly like this. I didn't have a clear design for this part. I just knew I wanted to have. Actually, the first thing that I had in my mind for this was gonna do like a bamboo kind of like straight lines, but because of the curvature and all that, I don't know. I'm not sure the direction of the bamboo lines going across that way we're gonna do anything super neat looking for us for the rest of the mesh. I thought maybe mimicking the leather layering that the sheath was going to have onto here would be much more beneficial. And turning that into like leather with some nice wrinkles and whatnot. Thank you, Green. Yeah, a lot of those guys we've been working on for a while. Some of them we've been like shelved for a long time and worked on other things, and then you know, we're kind of like coming back to them now. I'm not sure if I need another strap on here or not. We could do two more or none, or maybe instead of a strap there, we just do a inverted bolt or something. That'll work better. Do we have any other tutorials or stream for other projects? Yes, absolutely, Nats. Go over to LiveWorkshop.com. You can see a whole bunch of our other broadcasts. And I'll be updating. We have, God, I've had like 200 other broadcasts as well that I'm slowly updating, you know, the site. I try to update at least 2 videos per week of our all broadcasts. We have a lot. So I need to, I create the thumbnails and I upload them to the site and to our YouTube channel and everything. So we update it uniformly. Yeah, check them out there. Alright, let's build these guys up now that we kind of have the shape in there a little bit. They're gonna be leather, so you know they don't have to be perfect or anything. So getting a little rough, it's fine. You know, it's gonna bake, no problem. And also, if there's any real issues, we can also fix those up in Photoshop afterwards. So let's just work along and get this guy done. Now, there's enough for cinematic or anything, so it's more about the big picture. Working on this guy, so I'm not gonna be super critical on these little things. Farther away, it'll bake fine. Be a little bit rough. See where our actual edge loops are, and I can start doing some of the heavier wrinkles. Go across this guy. Let's use the damn standard a little bit for these edges here. Make it look like it's pressed a little bit. A little bit deeper. Just some of them, not all. A little harsh, we gotta bring it down. Give us a little bit better control this way. Yeah, I mean the Dota style really is it's very obviously Warcraft. You know, the game spawned from Warcraft 3, so that style kind of comes through. The very Blizzardy kind of cartoony. I mean, it definitely stands as its own. The Dota style, you know, but it does echo a lot of those things. I'm pushing a little bit of the edge here underneath so that we get a nice little AO. Shout out to Frosty. Oops. Too harsh there. Done a little bit here. Easy, easy. Grab, let's see, maybe a little inflate. Actually, let's save our progress. I don't want to redo any of that stuff. Alright. So, wrinkles. Leather. Heavy leather. Let's make sure that some of these guys are bulging up. A little bit on the ledge. Run a little bit of a smooth on top of that because we're at a height subdivision for the inflate tool. Which the brush is kind of picky if you get too many polygons involved. It starts getting a little bit bludgy. So you have to throw a little bit of smooth on top of that or edge polish and make it work a lot smoother. How about working with art directors? Your art director sucks. Yeah, they can be difficult. They can also be really awesome though. Just like any teammate or group that people that you work with, you know. Sometimes you get lucky. Work with amazing people. Sometimes not so much. Now I'm just gonna do a quick little pass of the really small little sub wrinkles. Not too serious. Clean this up a little bit. Flatten out a lot of these volumes. A little too detailed. We want to stylize it a little bit at the same time. So this is where the sharpness kind of kicks in. That preliminary wrinkling and lines and bulges, you know, they're all placed there for this particular reason, so that I can start molding them a little bit into the initial direction that I started sculpting some of the wrinkles and bulges in. They're all predetermined almost. Some of them will create a nice little cavity for us, so we get a nice little AO into those sections. And other ones might be too much, so I'll just kind of eat away. Nats, you got a question. Zbrush function makes the loops mesh around the edge, do you know? The loop mesh around the mesh? Oh, are you talking about these the straps? These guys? I'm just using clay buildup. If that's the one you're talking about, I'm not sure if that's what you were asking about. And we're using your orbs crack tool, like I'm doing here for some of these fairly simple wrinkles. You can use Alt to bring out the edges of them and create that little bevel. Super useful. Don't forget to use Alt on different brushes. A lot better than using pinch. I don't think I really use pinch all that often. Better to use inflate and alternate versions of orb cracks. You mean around the whole mesh? Working with the curve function, I think? Curve function. I'm not sure what you're asking, man. Make the mesh round. Are you talking about subdivisions? Like subdividing the mesh with more polygons? I don't know what you mean. Trying to help you. Whoa. Let's bolt it a little bit. This is gonna be really little so that I'm not making these perfect. They will come out round, I promise. Don't worry about them. Pushing a little bit of those wrinkles a little bit more so we get a nice ambient occlusion in here. Really nice and dark. The rest is kinda doing alright. Back for some of these cuts. Or leather, maybe. Some of these guys are a little bit damaged too. Oh no, don't worry about your English, man. You're doing good. Append the other mesh to this mesh around the border. This is all one mesh right now, dude. I started from just the low polygon on this mesh alone, so just that. That's what I started with. But if you're asking about the border, what I did was I masked it like this. and I went to deformation, and I applied an inflate balloon so that the white part would actually extrude out. And I just started from the one mesh. Hey, what's up, Nick Naren? I'll work a little bit of imperfections here and there. Little damages maybe, I don't know. Create a little bit of noise for us in the very, very low level kind of things. A little more interesting. Alright, I think that's pretty good for the Paldrons. We probably overworked them a little bit, but I'm sure we'll be able to clean that up with some brush strokes once we get into Photoshop. Let's see what we want to keep or what we can take away or add a little highlights, whatever it is. I think those are good to go. We can move on to something else. Let's smooth out, I guess, the rest of our meshes. We need some of that work to come through. Let's save this. Place it. Good. Let's see. Polish. Work in solo mode for actually. Let me kind of sketch out where this scroll actually continues. The mesh here. Quick little sketch. It doesn't have to be perfect. Freaking out too much. Little guide. Goes in here somewhere. And then I'll bevel it out by hand and make it work. Afterwards. Whoa, I had a bad angle there. I want to be a little bit off of that edge loop so I can bevel the inside and make it work better. Okay, so now we know where our scroll's gonna go. Of course, oh, whatever. We don't need that side anymore. It's just for showing the left side. It's gonna be the same texture and everything. We'll continue on. Sung Lee, what's up, man? Welcome. Welcome to the stream. We are smoothing out the arm for our Disruptorr right now. We finished our leg Paldron already. You can see there. Stylized little, simple little Paldron. Let's do the same for the arm. close to the edge there. I want these guys to be fairly smooth, so actually almost already there. Whoops. Yeah, this is gonna be an easy one. A lot of curvature to this model. So kind of echoing over and over and over the half moon crest and circles and roundness. The repetitive shape across our model, our character. Brings it all together subconsciously to the viewer. Good character design to keep that in mind. Echo your shapes so it feels like it's all working together. Let's bring some of these volumes a little bit rounder here by hand. Not enough polygons. A little bit of a hand there. Go ahead and get rid of these low polygon quads and triangles that are here. We don't want them to be visible. Preparing our mesh for our detail pass. Pretty straightforward, yeah? Just make the quads invisible and try and keep the volumes as close as we can to the low poly on this mesh sculpt. And over here we can do some clever little folds for the scroll. But after we fix up these visible quads. Super low polygon, so I mean we can make it look 100% crisp. But I do want to keep those edges close. Get nice easy bakes. Oops, need a little bit of volume here. As the edges are close enough, you can mess around with the inside section of those quads and bring a little bit more volume between the edges, the low poly edges. And we're still within the volumes of our low poly cage. Can I upload the texture process? Yeah, I won't be streaming the entire process because we have a deadline for the January 7th for this guy and our Phoenix model, but I will definitely stream some of the texture stuff. Especially the beginning section is really important, and then a little bit of the hand painting inside of Modbox as well. That'll be next week at some point. Alright, I think it's probably as close as we can push the smoothness for our low polygon. Messing up the volumes too much. It's not a bad start. Good thing, Shungli, sorry. Okay, let's see, what can we use? Start defining a little bit more of this scroll across his arm. I'm gonna need more subdivisions, I think, at this point. Maybe sketch it in a little bit more here. A lot of subdivision, and then start bringing out more of the thickness of the scroll. Line is pretty okay already. Place it a little bit, sort of smoothing when our subdivision doesn't kill the deepness too much. Okay, there we go. Go ahead and bring that scroll up on the ledge. A bit smoother with freehand. Oops. Ah. Rotate. A little too harsh there. Inflate's giving me a little bit of trouble on the around corners. I'm gonna use standard brush to build it out first, and then we can start stylizing it and adding some wrinkles. We want that part to be a little more readable from far away. Red Blue Warriors, hey man. Ratings for things, man, Russian friends. pushing a little bit of a wrinkle into the scroll. We do want this kind of, this kind of scroll paper should be a lot thicker, so we're gonna get sharper wrinkles, which we're not really getting right now. So, but I will get to that. Definitely want to have sharper little cuts and zigzags in some of these pieces. Harsher materials, scroll paper kind of stuff. We'll get to that. We'll get to that. I have to work on where those wrinkles first appear. Those volumes in, and then we can make them a little bit sharper if we want. Kind of sketching them in first here, see what actually works. If I mess up, I'll just go ahead and smooth it out and try and redesign it. I can't say that I've done a scroll sculpt before. It'll take me a couple tries to get a little bit of the wrinkles where I want the harshness to appear. A little bit like jean material, kind of harsh. A little bit more sharp on the turns. Turn this down a little bit so I can do the work on the edges. You haven't found any whole workflow video from the get-go to the end. Is there anything by chance? KSA John. Oh man. We have tons of videos up on our Twitch broadcast archive. Now all those videos are not yet on our actual broadcast archive on our website at liveworkshop.com, but I'm slowly getting through. We have like 200 or more, I think, actual broadcasts that I haven't put up yet, but I'm trying to put up at least a couple per week for you guys, so keep an eye out from there. You'll see all sorts of, I mean, it might jump around some of the models, but you know, through the different projects we do cover all the sections, whether it's low poly modeling, high poly modeling in Zbrush, UV mapping, baking, texturing, rendering, you know, everything gets covered across the way. It's kind of difficult to do it for one project because we work on so many projects at the same time. So, a lot of Dota 2 sets at the same time. Like right now we have, oh god, we're about to finish 8 of them, and that's excluding the 2 that we are finishing up for this contest for the New Bloom. Got to keep this stylized here at the same time as I'm doing this kind of stuff. Kinda working, kinda not. Just experimenting a little bit with this huge brush. Save me some work in the long run. I'm gonna have to run a flatten on the ledge there so I can get the flatness to come back in. But I think for the rest of this stuff, I'm getting some nice stylized kind of paperish kind of finish. A little bit too much going on right now, so I'll go ahead and clean it up. This stuff works. If not, we can always smooth out and fix whatever didn't quite fit, but I don't know, it's not too bad. Maybe too many lines going on here. Start to fill them in a little bit. Some sharpness back in. Some nice paper scroll wrinkles, kind of forcing them in and out. Like I said, I never really have to do scroll kind of sculpts harsh paper before, so I'm experimenting here and see if any of this stuff sticks. So bear with me. I think what I'm finding out is kind of like changing the direction of the wrinkles a lot harsher than you would otherwise with say cloth, silk, or a softer cloth material. It seems to be doing something really neat. I'm kind of like pushing that paper feel harsher, harder material. Hey Abby, what's up, dude? Good evening. Yes, John. Dude. You know, sculpting some scrolls. Working on a Disruptorr set for Dota 2 at the moment for competition for the Chinese New Year. Year of the Rooster, man. Trying to simplify a lot of this. Doesn't need this arm, so I mean we're not really gonna see down here too much, but just so there's a little bit of this scroll action going on. Whoa, whoa. Oh my god, my brush is still there. Yeah, I think I'm gonna simplify it even more. A little bit better. Nope. Hit up my curve that I wanted. Alright, that's not too bad for a first pass, I guess. First time trying to do that kind of shit. Let's see. Prosol Arcani, what's up, man? It's hard to make a set? A little, yeah, a little bit. But I mean, the more you do, the easier it gets, right? So it's all about experience with any kind of art that you'll be creating. It's all experience, repetition, and you know, working at your craft and getting better each time you do something. You'll never stop learning. That's for sure. A little bit of secondary wrinkle touches here. Emphasize some of the deeper sections a little bit. Too much. Rusty's paying close attention to what I'm doing right now, because he's going to be working on some scrolls of his own. Taking notes. What the hell did I just do? I don't even know. Oh, welcome back, Digitalist. How's it coming along? We have two sections done up. We have the leg pauldrons done, and we are working on the scroll across this arm, and we smoothed out the arm, but we haven't worked on the metal section for the arm yet, or leather. I'm not sure what it's gonna be. Probably leather, I guess. Yeah, not too bad, not too bad. We have our progress. That it works from far away, and the big shapes that we did for the scroll are actually looking pretty decent, so that's good. Sometimes even to this day, I still, you know, for Dota stuff, I still tend to want, like, it, you know, my past work experience has been a lot of realistic stuff, so I always kind of dial towards wanting to add more detail and more, you know, more little things here and there, and I need to continue to focus and keep in my head that, you know, this has to read from far away. Even the small details need to create the detail from far away. I mean, you create a little bits here and there, like we did for the pauldron, that you can see when you really zoom in. But big picture stuff, you know, create detail that reads from far away. A little bit contradicting, but it actually makes sense for Dota. Now what I want to do too, this is papers. I want to create maybe some rips into the scroll as well. Just a few here and there. And I'll be controlling all this stuff with an alpha texture. A little too thin there, so I'm kind of bulking it back up. Alright. Roberto Contreras Fernandez Sanchez. That's quite the name, hermano. Congrats for all your works on the videos. The style is very cool. Thank you so much, man. I appreciate it. Yeah, this is gonna be a rooster version for Disruptorr. Kind of similar to what we're doing with the leather, actually. It's kind of rip up some of the edges of this scroll. So why the heck not? Whoa, too much spinning. Oh, okay. And these rips, we actually need to make them pretty thick because it's a pretty small scale in comparison, you know, to the mesh. Disruptor's not the biggest character in Dota either, so if we do any sorts of details, we gotta scale them up so that they actually show up, otherwise it's just a waste of time. This is the stuff people will see when they zoom in, and it will show up on the texture and on our bake and everything, so it is worth it, but they'll have to scale it up a little bit more. And when we do a texture, I can choose to emphasize it or decrease how much you see it. You know, at that point we have a lot of options, liberty. Like, for example, this guy here looks really nice, but I think I want to make that really apparent. I'm gonna cut into it a lot deeper. Make sure it's even visible from far away. Ah, Roach, Merry Christmas to you as well, dude. The Zbrush UV algorithm, yeah, it's cool, but it's more for like as higher poly stuff. Low poly stuff, I mean, if you have a small texture, you really want to control your UV space. And Dota is tiny UV space, so you have to be on top of that shit. Manny, did you do the holes to know where the alpha stuff out, or any reason to do it? Yeah, so the reason to do it is, yes, I will be painting alpha on top of that, but if you actually do the holes inside of your mesh in Zbrush as well, not only, I mean, here, I'll paint out the alpha where it's gonna go, so let me use like a different material so you can see it a lot easier. That is not a good material to use. Okay, I'm gonna have to go into the something very, there we go. So say this is gonna be the alpha, right? That we're gonna be painting out in our texture eventually. Oh god, I smooth out my mask. Oh, for crying out loud. I'm working too fast. Zbrush doesn't like speed. Alright, for just an example, right? Sharpen it a little bit. Right, so that's gonna be an actual alpha. But if you were just to do the alpha just like that and not actually do the holes in here in Zbrush to begin with, you would lose out on... Oh, come on now. This goodness right here. All the edges. All that depth actually gets baked onto your normal map. So when you see this in game, you're gonna get those extra little shadows, and you'll see depth before you go into the alpha. All this space here is there, otherwise it would just be flat color straight into alpha. You know, so doing it in here and then the alpha is it's great. Great. Absolutely, Sonora, no worries. Use it, feel it, improve it. I'm gonna do a bevel here by hand. Get a nicer edge for our model. Those normal maps, more space. More light get caught here on the edge. Emphasize it with H polish. Oh my god. Okay, a little bit off here, that's okay. I'll fix it. Put a leather saw, I'm not gonna make it perfectly. Worry about making it perfectly flat. I'm actually gonna be weathering the edge a little bit on top of this even more. Like this leather kinda race with a scroll on top of it, right? What's up, Neva? Where can you download this awesome metacap? Okay, so I get that asked probably every stream. So on the last few streams, I think that I've uploaded, people asked that question, and I actually supplied a link to download the metacap, since it's no longer available from wherever I got it many years ago. Pixelogic, I think, had it up on their website at one point, and they have one that's similar, but it's changed a little bit since then. So if somebody in the chat can help me out, so I don't have to jump out of this and just check out the last couple of videos that we've had up on LiveWorkshop.com or our YouTube channel, and in the description or in the replies you will find a link to the metacap. GW Pewter. It's better to use eyebrows and mustaches using separate polygons, or just sculpt and bake? It really depends on the style of your model, to be honest. If it's super cartoony, honestly, it doesn't matter if it's the same mesh or not. It comes down to how you, the style of it and how you sculpt it. You know, if they're separate, you might get a little more freedom from being able to push it into the skin and hide it, you know, by just sculpting into it and pushing it so it hides. And then I guess you could just merge it together and make it into a single mesh. Or if you have a single mesh, then you just have to be a little bit more careful of how you make it come out, since you're not able to really push it in, right? Because you'll be pushing into the skin as well. So I mean, there's a little bit more freedom if it's separate first. You're welcome, Neva. Hey, Confrontation, what's up, buddy? Why don't I separate UVs when you have a 90-degree angle or a hard edge? Don't you use hard edges and only bake onto the smooth mesh? But doesn't the normal map scale better down when you separate the UVs into hard edges? You know, the normal maps are that weird space where you're not sure how it's gonna come out until you see it. I usually just keep them together because you know, having less seams is better than having seams all over the place. So it makes your texturing life a lot easier. I usually don't, I mean, we usually avoid those kind of problems, you know, if we have that mesh just going together as together UVs. Yeah, normal maps usually have problems when you have mirroring, you know, some engines have problems with mirroring your normal maps or things of that nature. It's usually not a huge problem, the one you're describing. And honestly, if you run into a whole bunch of problems where your normal map is getting messed up, you can dial down the specularity in that corner, or, you know, find ways around it, but I usually don't separate my UV seams just because it's a hard edge. I try to hide my UV seams depending on the model design. I think about that stuff while I'm modeling the model, and where I can hide those UVs best. Alright, let me show you guys really quickly our Phoenix set that we are also working on. Me, Abyss, and frosty. And then we'll jump back onto ZBrushing. Only 3 o'clock. We're doing good. We're doing good. Alright, so this is the other submission we want to submit for the Chinese New Year, New Bloom. So we're making a phoenix that has these crazy scrolls, kind of like just exploding from his wings. So we're going to be texturing a lot of this white glowing material at the start of the scroll, and going to the scroll, some nice runes or something onto the scroll itself, and then going to this black burnt edges and some really nice alphas, kind of like what you guys saw me doing with the Disruptorr there, without the burning, but the burning on this one. And some nice rings and really neat little ribbons going on, very fiery. And to boot, his headgear, this is kind of like burnt paper, kind of turned curving, kind of metal almost. So that's what we're going with for our phoenix. You can picture this with alphas and burnt scrolls all over. Very volumetric. Should be fun. Kind of hard to see without the textures, but I have something that I think will work really, really well in my head for the textures, so we'll get to that. Alright, now this metal stuff, what do we want to do with this metal? I think I want to keep it pretty simple since we have a little bit of more busyness happening on the sculpt of the scroll that's going around his bracelet. So I'm thinking maybe just a little bit of damage on some of his brace. Nothing too crazy. Solo mode here so I can rotate a lot easier. A little bit of gradient gradient detail here and there. Love me some circles. That stylized, kind of cartoony at the same time, they create a nice little thing. See me doing it a lot on my models, especially for this Dota stuff. And bring them together into the same world. Oh yeah, confrontation. We definitely have a lot of cloth in our stuff. I think it comes from my Star Wars experience. I'm very cloth oriented onto some armor stuff. Interesting little style that a lot of experience with, I guess. stylize some of this leather. A little bit of soft round bevels kind of into the surfaces. I think it works. Like a flatter front edge so we see it into the normal map, into the texture. Otherwise it's gonna be tiny, not enough pixels for it. So if we grab it not perpendicular like I was telling you guys before, if we grab it a little bit more at an angle, we force it towards that side of the mesh, which is what I want. I want to be able to see it from the top. I'm kind of forcing this ledge to be more angular, bending it, you know, like 20 degrees or so this way. And see, now from the top we see the ledge, regardless of the angle. Stylize. Okay. We are warmed up. We are working a lot faster now through this Zbrush Dota style. Funny to think about it, but that's definitely, I can tell the difference, you know, after being working for a few hours. Zbrush to when I started, it's like, okay, I'm being so careful, and brush strokes are, you know, totally overthought. Once you get warmed up and your design brain starts kind of sculpting away, you just kind of almost muscle memory, kind of. Once you have the initial shapes, anyways, you know, it's just kind of muscle memory. It just gets good stuff, very productive. Hello from Fox Sports Australia again. Oh, hey man, what's up? I remember you. Alright, I think that armlet is done, you guys. RP is finished. Legs finished. And I guess we can move on to get that shoulder out of the way. So we can call this shoulder piece, because that leg pauldron is actually part of the shoulder item. I just kind of threw it in there because it worked so well with the model, and I kind of some fake lighting that's coming from the egg, so close there and everything is going to be fantastic. So this part is actually goes together with that part as an item. The arm is just an item by itself, so that's one item complete in Zbrush. Let's do that shoulder, so we can call that piece done and never have to worry about it again. It's here. But first, let me fix this guy. It needs a little... Oh my god, it's too strong. It needs a little bit of a ledge, or an inner bevel here. So we can adjust the idea that it's actually being not pressed into the leather. A little bolt. A nice little ambient occlusion out of our bake at the same time. And also, you know, kind of referencing also the one that's, you know, on the leg. That little circle in there, you know, so that echoing the sign that I was speaking about earlier. Kind of bringing out, you know, as well as the curves, the crescent moon. All these things are working together. Wave states, when you're going, your brain goes into a certain optimized state, Frosty. Interesting. 10 a.m. over there in Australia, never? Last day of work, nice, nice. I'm gonna be working today and tomorrow. I think I'll stream tomorrow a little bit too, but then I'm heading out for the weekend. But I'll be back Sunday night, so we'll probably be streaming Monday. Maybe tomorrow a little bit, and then Monday for sure. Are you doing last touches of Zbrush at that point on Monday? Maybe starting a texture on something? Maybe? No, probably still Zbrush a little bit on maybe doing review stuff on Phoenix. We'll see. We'll see. Oh, let's take a look at the shoulder. Go ahead and hide the hat, hide the rooster. What we got here? Fix up this ledge first. I like that extra little bevel. Turn that up a little bit more. Okay. Now what the heck was I thinking for this, guys? You know what? Let's do the chess piece first, since I know exactly what I want for that, and then I'll see how I make the two guys work together. I think that'll work. Okay, so this guy's gonna have to be pretty deep actually. So let me see what how deep do I need this line to go? And do I want it round or super sharp? I think I like the roundness to it from the Dem Standard tool. Ah. Cut into the insides there so I get a nice little ambient occlusion. All those sections. Let's see, where are my edge loops over here? So more than likely this is gonna be a seam in my UVs. So I'm gonna have to be really precise with this line. Oh, look at that, first try. Really not the case. We'll take it. And we'll round out the corners there a little bit. Nice ambient occlusion to deepen. Keep all up in there. Need a deeper cut. This should match. Or just little sketch lines that I was doing before, so let's go ahead and put them in. Ah, completely off. Weird angle from my wrist. I want to make this one a little flatter. More snappy of a curve there. Okay. go. Okay. Now let's see. They might be a little too far apart. Well, let me do something. Little trick that I like to use is grab our inflate and just run it right across your opening, and you create this kind of wrinkle, kind of bevel, kind of embossing across the ledges. Nice little trick. I use it a lot for like realistic human like wrinkles and fatty tissue, but works just as well for these little things. Feel it. Stitch time! And I am really oversizing these guys, but they're like kind of armor, like leather armor platings. But I do want him to read from far away. So let me put on his hat here so we can see how much is in. So yeah, see? If I keep them that size, they're actually visible from far away. So you get a sense of scale for some of the detail work on him. Gives the rest of the character scale. Brush is about the same size here. I think I pain in the butt. Come on, man. Oh my god. Couple layers there so that it actually picks up well. Even with that bevel that we did beforehand, I think we're able to sculpt over it. Works really nice. Right, alright, alright. We'll also have this piece that kind of like goes underneath this belt texture. That I kept as the default model. So if you can see over here, we're keeping that belt, but I have our little chest piece coming underneath there. But I don't think we need any more of those stitches. Maybe a couple showing at the bottom, perhaps. Maybe. Let me see. cool little detail that still shows up down there. Yeah, continues it really nicely. Let's keep that. Okay. Let's smooth these guys out so we can call that piece done. Well, we'll have to, I guess, scorch it a little bit here and there with some little dabs, but this guy, we're flying through this stuff. Clean this guy's up a little bit. I don't really need too much. I just don't want those little pixels to show up. I also want to push these guys a little bit towards the inside so we see it from the top angle, since it's all going to be baked onto a flat surface. We gotta fake a lot of that, a lot of those dimensions into the flat texture. That should do the trick. Oh, whoa, whoa, whoa. This guy out. Okay. Working through this stuff really nice and quick. Like it. That little cut I'll just fix in Photoshop. Okay. Little parts of the model. I'm gonna spend time, making a separate mesh and making them be across the top and all that. A single brush stroke will fix that up in the normal map, and then another brush stroke on the texture layer itself. So that seems like a better use of my time. Work smart, how you work fast. Okay. Now, let's ding this up a little bit. Not too much, though. Bonya, what's up? Welcome. Okay, so we have a vert going along that. I'm trying to figure out what I wanted to actually mirror out of this guy. So yeah, we can definitely mirror him if we want to. I'm probably gonna go with, let's see, what is his back item? So we have the swords and that piece on it, and the back is 256 by 256. Whoa! Yeah, we're definitely gonna mirror this guy. I'll keep that brush on, and then I'll just make sure that my detailing is uniform and not very unique, so it's not too noticeable. The way to do that is to make if this is like rust, or we're doing worn paint or whatever it is, like in this case we're just doing leather with a little bit of leather that's been beat up a little bit, scarred up, maybe battle damage a little. We want to do a little bit of damage that is uniform, so that runs across most of the mesh. That way you can't really tell whether it's mirrored or repetitive on the other side. It's just it's repetitive everywhere. So you don't want like a huge line like this, because then it's like, hey, wait a minute, right? Let's get right off the bat. This is just kind of like environmental kind of pass on it. Nothing crazy. Keep it cartoony too. Stylized, sorta cartoony. No. And of course, a little bit of a bevel. Some of these stitches. And I'm just gonna put them on one side. The other side is just gonna be faked, that the camera angle is looking at it from this way. Instead of beveling both sides on the geometry. Sometimes it makes it look flatter. I'm just gonna do the one side. Little cheat. Oh, Prefers, you okay, buddy? I'm just coughing up a lot. And this part back here, you don't actually really are gonna be able to see it because the sword. Oh my god, the swords are in the way. So yeah, we'll get to those things. Do something with the neck here a little. Push this cartoony leather across. I cut it up right here. That same kind of uniform detailing. Okay, let's see. What about the patterns on the vest? The patterns? Like little like Chinese kind of design patterns, or what do you need, man? What do you mean? Could work. It might get too busy. Something that can we test out on the texture super easily though when we get to it. That's pretty clean. We can also put a little graphic back here if we want. Maybe a little cogwheel. That's a good call. Go around with our cogwheel. Alright, where's the little hat? Alright guys, we're moving along. Going well. But there is, sorry, no playlist command, but this is Ronald Jenkins that I'm playing right now. Diesel Beef, you're somewhat new to 3D modeling and having a hard time determining if and when you prioritize modeling in quads where they're possible for modeling, if it's triangles, for the sake of vertex counts. Is the answer the same across the board, or do some situations prioritize the one over the other differently? So triangles versus quads, it depends what you're modeling for. Modeling for something that has a lot more polygons, something more like a different game that's not so far away like Dota is, something that has like 15,000 polygons or more. I mean, I think that's the lowest really that games go now is 15,000. You know, they're usually around 40, 60, 80,000, 120,000 some games, maybe more, depending if it's like a fighting game, there's even more. But yeah, for those games, I mean, you want quads because they deform a lot better, they're better for animations, they render a lot better lighting. Dota relies heavily on its normal maps, and there's very little polycounts for a lot of these pieces, so triangles is definitely not frowned upon. I use them everywhere, and they make no difference whether it would be a quad or a triangle. You know, you just make sure that the sculpt works and that it bakes together easily, and you'll be set. Okay, let's. Oh, the shoulder, right? I gotta figure out what we do with the shoulder. What was I planning on doing with it? I think at one point I was messing around with putting those. Cutting this into I think 4 pieces. I'm not sure if it's gonna work any longer though. Let me see if it looks bad or not. Do a quick test here. Take me a few tries. Okay, so these lines suck. Okay. Get a little artsy here. Now we're talking about all those curves echoing throughout the model, right? So here it is. And then we'll try the stitching over top of that and see if it works. If not, we can try something else. A little bit bigger stitches here. Yep. I think I like it. Now, do we want to offset these guys a little bit, maybe? I mean, we didn't do it on the vest, but it might be nice to have on the shoulder. They're offset. Maybe not, I don't know. Maybe I messed up. You know what? I think that works. I like it. Alright, let's clean it up. We can call this thing done. Or this shoulder piece, I should say. Bit of smoothing. Bit simple. Keep it safe. Clean up the other edges in a second. A little harsh. Alright, almost there. Let me just push this guys a little bit more so we get a nice little AO in there. A nice dark little shadow. Otherwise I'll have to paint it into the texture, so I might as well just do it now. Get it out of the way. Nice and dark. Yeah. Okay, now let's beat it up a little bit with little leather scratches. But keep it clean, you know, because the detail is, you know, all these little guys that we've been drawing. You don't want to have the damage for scarring to be crazy heavy. And it's gonna be kind of like a black leather anyway, so it's not gonna show up too much. We do want it to show up when we just paint a little bit of highlights, a little bit of a brighter gray across. We'll be alright. Oh my god. Whoops. Not bad, not bad. Welcome, Manasu. Thank you, Sam. Can you have some critique on your Pudge model? Yeah, let's do a shotgun really quickly though, because we are on a little bit of a crunch here for this stuff. Which program do you use to creating effects for Dota? Of course, is there a program inside of the SDK for particle creation? Yeah, there's the Dota 2. There's a particle system inside of the Dota tools. Abyss is in here, I think, still, or maybe he passed out. And he's our effects guy, so he can help you out with that. If he's not around here, then we can ask him next stream. But unfortunately, right now you can't even submit special effects for Dota. Valve is not admitting them any longer, so we're we've stopped doing special effects. But yeah, basically you just have to open them inside of the browser, and you know, once you open them up, it opens. You can access the special effects tools, particle systems, and everything. Awesome, cool, thanks for the follow, man. Alright, well that is 2.5 items to go finished in Zbrush. This is part of the back, this emblem and his middle torso armory thingy. The other back item is, or section of the back item, are these swords here. And those swords, I'm only gonna sculpt one, and texture obviously just one of them, the other one will be mirrored. But I have it set up here, so that it's just easier to ZBrush and mirror if I need to do the backside. But I don't think we're gonna do a backside. The backside's probably just gonna be mirrored from the front. So I probably won't even sculpt this at all or even set up mirroring. I'll just worry about sculpting this side. Just making that look good. The other side will just be completely mirrored. And it should be fine that way. And then we have the base section of the rooster to sculpt. And then the feathers, which are actually daggers for the sculpture that came to life of the rooster. I'm modeling all these little swords across. It's just really 3 of them, but we'll be moving them all into place and then making unique lighting situations for all those guys. And it should work out in the end. I still need to bring on these pieces. Let me see. They have to be separate, maybe not. I don't know. Can I get away with doing them all in one shot? Yeah, I can do them all together. Put them together. Anything else I need to explore? Is that the last piece? Or the set? This is the mount. Mount egg for Zbrush. Alright. Go ahead and multi-append that piece that we just ported out. Oh my god. So that's in the wrong place because I did a polygon thing, the centering, the pivoting thing for this rooster. So now I have to figure out how I can get that guy into the same position as all these other fellas. Okay, let's try this. Repose. And it runs across all the meshes for some weird reason. What did it do the whole thing? Okay. That pivot. This should fix it. Hopefully it doesn't mess up all the other subtools. It's alright, we saved the art file. Oh, it's still working. Whoops. Did I crash it? Did I crash it? No crash. 14 seconds. Okay, so that's totally in the wrong spot. Wonderful. Why Zbrush do this to me? I'd be surprised if this works in one shot. Wishful thinking. It worked for the chicken or for the rooster just fine. Why isn't the egg? Oh, god. Alright, I'm gonna have to troubleshoot this later, guys. Or we can just work on the rest of this. Actually, you know what? The position doesn't even quite matter. I can just move this and, you know, it's floating anyway, so whatever. We're fine, we're fine. What the freak? What a wonderful guy. Oh, there's just multi-append this bastard. Move it. I just kind of guess where it's supposed to go. Whatever, like I said, no biggie. Doesn't really matter. Floating. all we want is a ZBrush. Wherever we do our low poly, we'll just have to put our low poly like inside it, and we'll be good to go. Okay. I'm gonna geometry subdivide this. Use it a few times. Smooth. Twice over. Solo mode. Alright, well anyways, we have that piece in here. Confrontation. I don't know if you posted something on my chat. I see it. Oh, it killed the links on my. Interesting. Okay. Because I have the multi-chat thing going on, so let me see if I can open up the stream myself and then see your message. If not, I'm gonna have to ask you to repost it. Oh wait, I can see it. Okay. Take a look for confrontations. Pudge. Okay, so let's see, you got a shoulder piece going on. You have, I guess, kind of like you're making, I'm guessing this is for the rooster event. You got some kind of like rooster mask going on with a little bit of a mohawk. The amount of detail that you're adding to these guys, like the scale of the detail, is it's done really well because you're able to see it from a distance. So that's really good, man. You got a claw for his hook, like a talon claw. Interesting. A machete. Yeah, that's an interesting maybe one with the talon hook, man. I like that. The shoulder piece. I think the shoulder piece and the mask need a little bit more of a style to it. So whether you maybe put this mask going towards like a huge like blade beak that maybe runs up, and then the blade itself starts making the mohawk for him, you know, something like that. So it's a little bit more aggressive looking. The hair, the mohawk that you have going on right now, I don't think it's for me in particular. It's not. I don't think it's working for this style. And maybe the shoulder piece needs something that runs along, I don't know, there's something that puts together, you know, that goes together with the rest of the set. It seems out of place. If you're going for that. I mean, it's very, you know, you have the Chinese thing going with the coin and the pattern on it, but I would try and push this style so that it's something more unique along, you know, like you have like the talon, you know, like I was explaining, maybe the beak can be this larger blade that runs into the top of the rooster, that little fan thing. But yeah, those are my ideas, man. Keep going, dude. Alright, let's grab this hat. This one should be pretty easy to smooth out. And it's mirrored too, so it's even easier now. We'll do just a little bit on the ledges. Okay, now let's A little sharp here on the edges, I gotta be careful with that. We'll do the bevel across the top with our flatten tool. Whoa, jeez, that's strong. We'll smooth it out in a second. Gotta flatten it first though. Whoa, whoa. I'm hitting the right angle here. We'll add a little bit of bumps here and there. This could be leather as well, I guess, over the rest of the set, so that we have only the metal being the weapons and the blades. Well, and the whole mount, I guess. Okay. That was quick. Male chickens have 2 sabers on their feet. Oh, like one a little bit higher up. Like above their ankle area, I guess. Dota? What you meant? Oh, sure thing, confrontation. Oh, don't worry about the blade on my rooster thing, man. You can do it too. That's kind of universal. But yours can continue from the beak, you know, like continue the whole blade going, kinda. That makes any sense. This will most likely be mirrored. I'm not sure why it wasn't turned on there. Maybe a couple of bolts here to go with the other bolts that we had on the rest of the mesh. Or maybe we keep it clean. Let me just try it real quick. Not to be sparing on these guys though, I'll get too repetitive. So let's see, that's the middle. Every third one, maybe? Color. That's every 4. Yeah, I think that works. Don't want too many of them. The inside of the hat, even though you're most likely never gonna see it. We'll just smooth it out a little bit. We need a stepper brush here. Button this up. Probably just got a little bit too strong here. Okay, we can just clean it up. Same thing back here. A little too skinny. A little sap. Good to go. These guys you're more than likely not really gonna see, but little thing if somebody looks under there. Bolt. See if that work. Why is your Geo so low in resolution? Cause I'm just starting really on kind of designing the detail that is gonna go on this, and then I usually add like one more subdivision. And then go in there and add a little bit more detail to this, guys. And honestly, this subdivision here is all we're gonna need for the bake for Dota 2. You know, we have our bevels, we have our large detail coming through, and working at a lower subdivision in Zbrush allows you a lot more freedom to move things around or fix things or remodel whatnot than working at a high subdivision. So you want to work in steps. That is Zbrush. GK, what's up, buddy? Save that. Oh, welcome home, man. Cool hat. It looks like a wanderer or such. Yeah, it's like this. Yeah, totally. I get that vibe too, man. Not super crazy, heavily armored, you know, with this like leather stuff, but very, very fantasy oriented. You know, once you start seeing the other pieces of the set with his floating orbs and his floating swords on the back, riding the blades, feathered statue of a rooster that came to life. It's gonna be fun to texture, that's for sure. Where's the webcam? Oh, I didn't bother setting up the webcam today, man. We got so much work to do. I was like, skip it. Excuse me. You meant for the at the expense of the Chinese patterns? Chinese patterns. I missed your other comment, Bonaya. Let me see. Yeah, I missed it. I can't find it. Now I'm lost. But yeah, we'll be having some Chinese patterns on... Perhaps? Well, I guess the scroll will have some sort of made-up font that we'll put on there, perhaps. Coming along. Magical floating egg. Full protection of the rooster. Thank you, Shoddy. Let's see, orb cracks might be better here. Yeah. I need these guys to cut pretty flat. I'm not even sure how many of these guys we can have unique. Possibly all of them, but won't know until I do the UVs for this guy. Alright, I really need to hide the freaking noise. To rotate a lot easier. I'm gonna have to go a little bit more, a little bit deeper, a little bit more stylized here. And these guys to really show up. And of course we'll be painting out some of that stuff inside of Photoshop so that they all work. That'll become overly busy. little bit of work. That weapon is really getting in the way. Where are you? Get out of here. Alright, that was pretty easy. Not too bad. Nice and simple. You can do some nice little painterly brushes to bring out some of those little highlights if we need to. The chicken's gonna be black. The chicken's gonna be a very dark green bluish kind of old statue material. You know, push a little bit more into the Chinese kind of ROM of their statues. So yeah, maybe like that very dark ironized old metal with some really nice AO in there, and maybe I'm gonna play around with how I make those glows get baked onto into the metal feathers, so that we have maybe an inner glow coming from all the blades, and of course light source from the egg and the inside of the cavity there, the eyes, the inside of the mouth. Make it really look really alive, a lot of energy inside. Alright, so the head is done, the shoulders are done. The back item is halfway done. The arms are done. So all that left to do is half of the back, which is the weapon. The rooster, which is quite a bit of work. And the weapon. So what is this guy? 6 items? Did I count them all? 6. Yes. Okay, so we're about halfway done here. In terms of Zbrush. Actually, possibly even more, because the weapons are going to be pretty easy. And the chicken itself is really just the head, the legs, and the 3 daggers that I haven't brought in yet. That'll be down here. Oh man, once we get the colors on this guy, all these pieces are coming out. The light stitches over the dark color. Nice grayish, greenish emblem. Nice leather bit over the black underneath there. This scroll popping up against the black leather as well. And then all those pieces were designed around this opening of light, so we can paint in some awesome baked lighting hitting all of these items. And we also have the floating orbs going around the top, so I'm gonna bake some lighting onto the top of the hat as well, pass on to the sheets and the swords on his back. So it's gonna be gonna have a lot of really interesting lights going on. Let's hope we can pull it off. Confrontation. Lots going on here, but I think it'll work. Far away, we're seeing those shapes come out fairly well. Even the little details with the stitching, since we made them kind of big. The larger straps holding onto the top of the leg armor there. Fairly large wrinkles on the leather on the legs as well, so they're kind of visible from a distance. That's not bad. Sweet. Very sweet. Alright guys, I think that's it for today. I'm gonna put you guys over to check out some of our past broadcasts. They're a little bit older, but every week I'm updating a few videos. So check out LiveWorkshop.com for the past broadcasts. You can also check out some awesome sets by us and by other super talented artists that we like to showcase on here. You can check out the website, and there's really cool banners, animated banners, and vote for your sets or purchase them if you're a Dota player. And, but even if you don't play Dota and you see something that you like, you want to support the artist, throw votes their way. It really helps them out and helps us out. And the other broadcasts you can see, just scroll down and see anything else that might interest you. Anything else you might want to learn. Some baking of normal maps, some cloth, metal, textures, UVs. Some in-game previews, all sorts of good stuff. So yeah, we'll keep updating this stuff. Go check it out. We also have a Facebook page. Check out LiveWorkshop on Facebook. That's just scroll down and you can see that on our details in Twitch. And I'll say have a good evening, you guys. I don't see you before the New Year. Have a Merry Christmas, have a Happy New Year. But I'm gonna try and come back either tomorrow for another stream. Some of this stuff here. Oh. Confrontation, the resub, 28! Yeah, man. Yeah. Get them pancakes. Actually, I'm freaking starving. I might get some pancakes myself. Yeah. Thank you so much, man. Appreciate the support. But yeah, I'll try and see if we can stream tomorrow. If not, Monday for sure. And then we'll be running crunch mode and try and stream as much as possible until the 7th. Which is the deadline for this set. So we'll be doing this Disruptorr and the Phoenix. Right on, guys. Thank you so much for joining us. We'll see you guys soon. Make sure you follow. Peace out.